Well, guys, here it is, my long-awaited NBA Top 10. Started off, we got number 10, Tim Duncan, the big fundamental, bank shot master, the legit definition of a backboard bitch. But hey, if it goes in, it goes in, and this dude put a lot of buckets in. He was a two-way beast, offense and defense. Defense, very underrated aspect of his game. Very quiet guy, Timmy D. He was like a zombie out there. He was like Kawhi before Kawhi, where he's just a quiet killer out there on the court. Again, Spurs organization kind of grooms those guys. They love those guys, the Popovich guys. His longevity was crazy. He played 19 seasons. His career average was a double-double, which was 19 and 10. He was a two-time NBA MVP, had 5 rings. It could have been 6 without that Ray Allen buzzer beater, which would have made him 6-0 in the finals. In case you can't remember, that was with Miami. Rebound by Bosch, dish out to Allen.
Attack the basket. James catches, puts up a 3. Won't go. Rebound Bosch. Back out to Allen. His three-pointer. Bang! Tie game.
He has the most wins with one team all time, which is 1,001 wins. Just incredible. Most wins in a trio, it was him, Manu Ginobili, and Tony Parker. The not so big 3 over in San Antonio. Again, the quiet company. They had 541 wins total combined between the 3 of them. He's the only player to start and win a title in 3 different decades. He was part of 17 consecutive 50-win team seasons, which is the longest streak ever. Which is just insane. I mean, the NBA, in terms of the NBA and the line of success that the Spurs had, it was comparable to the Patriots and the NFL over the past 20 years. I mean, all they knew was just how to win. Like Al Davis said,
just win, baby.
Win, baby, win. He was one of 5 players to win 3 Finals MVPs, one of 4 players to spend 19 or more seasons with one franchise, one of 6 players selected to 15 or more All-Star games. He's 6th all-time in rebounds, 5th all-time in blocks, he was a 15-time All-NBA and 15-time All-Defensive. So that man just got it done on both ends. He was an absolute juggernaut out there on the court. Great leader, great player. So Tim Duncan, number 10. Then up next, number 9, we have Wilt Chamberlain. Guy was an absolute freak in nature. He forced so many rule changes, with some of those rule changes being offensive and defensive goaltending, size of the lanes or the courts, changed the size of the paint on the court. Free throw shooting was altered because of him, the rules of it. Inbounding the ball, all of them were all changed because of him, because he was just such a freak athlete, just absolutely making the other competition look silly. He has what he's best known for, the 100-point game, which is the most ever in a single game. The next closest one was Kobe Bryant with 81 points. Absolute video game numbers. His career average was 30 points and 22 rebounds, which is just nuts. Like, that's unheard of. He averaged over 35 points in 6 seasons. And one of those seasons, he averaged 50 points, which is like NBA 2K level. Like, that's just absurd. Like, you'll never see that again. Like, that's just fucking ludicrous. He only shot under 50% in 2 of his 16 seasons, averaged 20-plus rebounds in 12 out of the 16 seasons that he played. He was a 4-time league MVP, 10-time All-NBA, 13-time All-Star, 1-time Finals MVP, and 2-time NBA champion. He currently sits 7th all-time in scoring, 1st all-time in rebounds, and yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, let me include this. He led the league in rebounds 11 times, which is just absurd. Like, if you can lead the league in a statistical category in double-digit figures, then that just means you're dominant at doing that thing. And he was just a freak on the glass. Like, nobody could stop him. The only one who even came close was Bill Russell during his era. So that's number 9, Wilt Chamberlain. Number 8, Irvin Magic Johnson. Do it for Magic, baby. Showtime. He was the tallest true point guard in NBA history at 6'9", and by true point guard, I mean his legit position was the point guard position. Like, it's not like LeBron, who played majority at the point this season, even though he's a small forward. Like, Magic literally was groomed as a point guard. Like, played all through college as a point guard, played all through the NBA as a point guard. I mean, he could guard and defend multiple positions, like he did in his rookie season in the finals when Kareem was out that game, where he played center. But his legit position was a point guard. Like, the types of passes and moves, and he would basically run the flow and the tempo of the offense. He was just legit. He was a point guard. He was a point god. Someone how CP3 is today, but Magic passing is just otherworldly. That's why he got the nickname Magic. He's a 5-time champion, 3-time league MVP, 3-time finals MVP. His career averages were near triple-double, which was 19 points, 7 rebounds, and 11 assists, which is just phenomenal. Anytime you're on triple-double status, God status in the NBA, that is just absurd, especially if you could do it throughout the course of your whole career. He was a 12-time All-Star, which I have to mention this. He only played 13 seasons because it got cut short due to him contracting HIV. And out of those 13 seasons, he made 12 All-Star teams, which is just phenomenal. He was just an outstanding player. The Lakers always seem to get lucky with those outstanding guys like Magic, Wilt, Kareem, now LeBron, AD, Shaq, Kobe. There's just a historic franchise right there. So then back to Magic, he made 9 All-NBA first teams. He reached the NBA Finals 9 times. Like I said earlier, he won 5. He lost 1 to the 76ers, 1 to the Celtics, 1 to the Bad Boy Pistons, and 1 to Michael Jordan. So all phenomenal teams. It's pretty hard to fault him for losing those, but you can make the same argument with some of LeBron's losses, but the difference is here with Magic is his record is still at least positive. He's 5 for 9, whereas LeBron is 4 for 10. And the Magic went on to become 5th all-time in assists. So again, like I said, he ran the Showtime Lakers, him, Kareem, James Worthy. He ran the show. He almost was the show. He was that motor for that team. Going up and down the court, he was just thrilling to watch. He would literally pack the houses with celebrities left and right. Back before they were even in LA, technically. So I mean, he basically he helped make the Lakers of today, where it's all the glitz and glamour. He was the show. He was the show in Showtime. So again, that's number 8. That's Irvin Magic Johnson. Number 7, another Laker on this list, is Kobe motherfucking Bryant. Kobe Bean Bryant, the Black Mamba. Mamba mentality right there. R.I.P. One of the GOATs. Like I had mentioned, he had 81-point game, which is the second highest scoring game of all time. 5 rings, 3 with Shaq, 2 him and Pau Gasol and that supporting crew. 2 Finals MVPs that came in his second part when he was 24, or when he was number 24, before he switched from number 8. And I just have to say this, I just want to mention it, put some respect on fucking Kobe's name, some goddamn respect. He did not get carried when he was with Shaq. Shaq was an absolute freak. He was putting up like 30, 35 points during all his playoff runs. During the season averages too, just absolutely dominating. He's a freak of nature. But Kobe was still holding his own. He's putting up like 20 to 30 points. There was sometimes during those runs too where Shaq was hurt and Kobe had to carry the torch until Shaq came back and they absolutely kicked ass in the finals. So the numbers don't lie. You want to go back, you can watch the tape too as well. Tape don't lie. But Kobe did not get carried, not once during his career. Even he was one of the grittiest players of all time as well, playing through so many different injuries, hands, knees, Achilles, it didn't matter. He was out there one time, he basically dislocated his shoulder and he was just shooting left-handed. It was his right arm, he's a righty, he was just shooting left-handed out there. Like the Achilles injury, like I had mentioned, which pretty much put the dagger in his career. Dude tore his Achilles, got up, walked to the free throw line, sank both free throws and then proceeded to walk off the court by himself to the locker room to the trainer. I mean, the amount of will this dude had. He just didn't give a single fuck. I mean, there's so many of those stories where he'd be up at, he'd hit up the trainer at like 3 a.m. and he'd be in the gym the next hour at 4, and the trainer wouldn't beat it till like 5 or 6, and he'd already be drenched in sweat. Same thing with Team USA. Like, this is the Olympics. Like, Team USA for basketball pretty much wins the gold like every year. It's like almost like a joke compared to the other leagues of the competition, until maybe like recent years where basketball's starting to pick up in foreign countries like in Spain and parts of Africa. But Kobe wouldn't give a single fuck. That dude was always 10 toes down no matter what. He didn't give a fuck. He's absolute savage, and he was just fun, so much fun to watch. But anyway, before I keep ranting more, I just wanted to give him a little bit extra spotlight, just because he's no longer with us. He had that historic death at the beginning of the year. He was an absolute scoring machine. He was a 2-time Finals MVP, like I said, 1-time league MVP. He could have gone multiple more. If you had a couple votes the other way, when Steve Nash won his, when Duncan won one of his, and then when Dirk won his MVP. He had 3 seasons to averaging 30 or more points. He basically had skills like Michael Jordan. He copied all of his moves. If you watch the tape side by side, he had all of his moves. Almost like Tatum today copied almost all of Kobe's moves. But literally, like, Kobe, Jordan, it was almost identical. Like, it was scary. The only difference is Jordan was a little bit better all around defensively, passing, rebounding, blocks, and he also shot the ball a higher percentage. Kobe shot roughly around 44-45% from the field, and Michael Jordan was right around 50%, which is just absurd if you could shoot about 50% or better. He had longevity even though with all of his injuries, because he just played through. That man was always on a mission. He had that mountain mentality, like I said. He played 20 seasons all with the Lakers. Whether they full seasons or not, still stuck around. He was drafted straight out of high school. The man was 17 at the time. Actually didn't make his start until he was 18, but he was 17 when he was getting drafted. So the dude was just a baby. He's a 17-time All-Star, and all 17 of those were consecutively, which is just an absurd run of consistency. He's one of 6 players selected 15 or more All-Stars, 12-time All-Defensive Team, 9 first-team All-Selections. So again, he was very good defender as well. No discredit, like I was saying, compared to him and Jordan. Just Jordan had Defensive Player of the Year. Jordan, I'll mention some more about his defensive prowess, but Kobe could hold his own too. Kobe could hold anybody, didn't have to hold anybody's jock. He was his own man. He was a fucking beast. 15-time All-NBA, and he competed, and a lot of people don't mention this either, he competed in arguably the greatest conference during his run with the Lakers. They were always multiple 50-point teams that he had to go through to his run to the championship, which is just absurd. He ended up still winning 5. I mean, he had the Spurs to go up against the Suns when they had Steve Nash too, was so good. He had Dirk Nowitzki on the Dallas Mavericks, and this is it's one of the top 3s that come to my mind, but there was numerous others. The West has always been so good, but especially during Kobe's era with those multiple 50-point teams, it's just absurd how deep he would have to go and how much he'd have to push the rest of his guys just to make it far. And as it stands, he's 4th all-time in scoring. That's Kobe Bryant, Black Mamba again, RIP him and GG. Very unfortunate in a way that they had to go out. So moving on, again, another Laker. This is a trend, in case you guys can't tell. The Lakers just always have dogs on their teams, absolute monsters. People love the glitz and glamours of LA, man. What could I say? To live and die in LA, as Pac said.
Yeah, to live and die in LA, California. What you say about